AV SuperFriends on Topic is an independent production wholly owned and operated by AV SuperFriends, LLC. For the highest quality recording of all of our shows, visit avsuperfriends.com. This is AV SuperFriends on Topic, a 30-minute monthly roundtable focused on a single topic. This discussion will be opinionated, to the point, and saturated with our well-known blend of painfully won expertise and deeply ingrained immaturity. For March 2024, it's the best-sounding podcast in higher ed. This is the AV SuperFriends on Topic. Broadcasting live from coast to coast, easternmost to westernmost, northernmost to southernmost, gate post to hitching post. I'm your local host who can boast the most milquetoast and utmost humility. I'm Chris Dector. It's time for another Friday afternoon podcast adventure. And let's welcome our panel of illustrious AV SuperFriends for today. Push this button.
What'd you call me?
You heard me. Our first panelist is an international functionality engineer from Kansas City, Jamie Reinhardt. No intro from Jamie.
I waved. It was one of those goofy waves. You were watching.
Silent one. All right. Let's welcome a senior configuration orchestrator from Corvallis, Oregon, Marc Kolowazinski.
I'm just looking for a good time, y'all.
Let's get some mild applause for you there. Next, we're joined by an international assurance facilitator. Oh, I'm sorry, hit the wrong button there. Sorry. International assurance facilitator from Greensboro, North Carolina, Larry Darling.
Yep, everything's good.
Is all you do? You're just assuring
everything's good.
People
all the time.
Facilitating assurance.
Don't worry.
And finally, by request, he's been promoted again. You know him and love him. A customer implementation vice president from Bowling Green, Kentucky, Justin Rexing.
Does everybody else hear that clapping?
Nope.
No, there's no clapping.
It's a studio audience, dude. We're live.
We're live.
Is that Twitter clapping?
Mm-hmm. You're hearing Twitter right now. That's what Twitter sounds like.
It's okay.
You're going to get demoted next week.
So this month's topic is rethinking spaces. But before we start that, we got a comment from somebody on through Spotify. I didn't know you could even do that, but hey, whatever. I also don't know how to reply to said person, so there's that. Yeah, if you're listening to us on Spotify, hey, thanks. Go to our website, avsuperfriends.com, and pick up the RSS feed. It's better. Anyway, they said, why are you guys doing a show in only 20 minutes? It seems rushed. So,
you're welcome. You're right.
Well, I suppose there is that. So today we're going to add...
only way to stay on topic.
We're going to add one more minute. It's a bonus minute.
That's a lot in the percentage of what we're getting here. So, I mean, spared no expense.
You can't make everybody happy. It's either too long.
Well, okay. And for a bit
short.
of background, what we recognized was that the on topics, which in the intro that you probably weren't listening to when it fired off a minute ago, it says it's a 30-minute monthly roundtable. And we were kind of going way long on those. So we figure we'll give ourselves 20 minutes of discussion, which leaves us 10 minutes to waste time, and then hopefully get that all boxed in under 30 minutes.
We value your time. We want to give you factual information as fast as we can, so you can act on it.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
We're trying.
And there's a video stream, and nobody wants to look at our ugly mugs for more than 20 minutes.
No, that's too challenging.
Jamie, you're my desktop background. I look at you all day long. It's great.
Yours too?
So 1 out of 5. 2 out of 5. Hey.
It's so weird.
We've already lost viewers. I mean, the numbers were up and now they're gone. So,
all right.
Well, let me start this timer, and then we'll talk about the topic of the month. Let's make it go. There we go. All right. So, topic for March is rethinking spaces. And the way I think we put some rails around this was, what's one thing in a post-COVID project? So this is all stuff that we've done after COVID, because COVID projects were all slapdash, and let's see what we can get in there and do as many as we can for as few dollars as possible.
Mine were well thought out, organized, and planned.
Well, they were somewhere. So what's one thing we would do differently if we were to do that same project today? Or projects. So does that give us enough to go on?
it gives us something to get into.
All right.
So, yeah.
Mark, we're going to start with you because you're first on my list.
You always start first with me on the list.
Well, you're at the top of the list for some unknown reason. I think when we started typing this template 4 years ago, your name went in there.
Shuffle it up. All right. Anyway, for me, I look back as I thought about rethinking spaces, and I looked at like where are my problems now because of the things I may have done. And
you may or may not have done
from time to time, right? What should I have done differently? And
I do that once a week, not once a year.
Well, it's an even year.
It's a time for reflection.
Last time, so
he's got an extra day this year to think about
it. My whole thing was our approach for the student in the room, specifically around the microphone thing. We did this real quantitative approach during a lot of rollouts and use a lot of that measurement that we may or may not have gotten exactly right during our rushed rollouts, and kind of have done some rooms and have kind of gone back and it's like those are not the best qualitative approaches to what we need to do, and we spend a lot of time having to do that. I'm almost of the belief that maybe we shouldn't have even put those in a lot of spaces. And that
you're saying, so just clarify, are you saying to not mic the students at all, or to adjust what part of the rooms you are miking?
I think it's to develop more of an assessment as to where that actually belongs. Right. I don't know if it necessarily belongs.
It's interesting you didn't answer my question. So
I can't answer your question. Ask it again.
So are you saying no mic, or you need to maybe reduce or maybe tune or focus the mics?
Yes, it's yes to all that. It's exactly all of that.
I knew that was
I'm going to stop asking questions.
I knew Mark was going to answer.
I can't help it. It's the answer. It is what it is. So there are spaces that have them that shouldn't. There are spaces that don't have enough, and there's spaces that have too many and sound like shit. So
okay, so you're saying the approach of carrying a big box of microphones, running around and just into every space was probably not the best way to do it.
No,
kind of like Ninja Stars. He was just throwing those things in the tiles and calling it a day.
Yeah, I mean, we did it, and we rolled them out. And at first, can you hear me? Yes or no? Yes. On to the next room, right? Like
so you work for an integrator.
We did that, and we all do at some level, but it's there's spots now as we go back where it's like, I really wish we would have had more time to do this, and understanding we need to focus more on that and rethinking about how we deploy them at scale. I could take Justin's approach. If it's not perfect, don't do it. No audio at all, right? Uniformity, all that stuff.
Audio is a luxury.
That's not his approach.
That is the most complimentive way of saying that.
If you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all. And that's kind of how my takeaway is: readdress and make sure it's right. Not that it's wrong. It's just that we've experienced it more, and maybe the students and the clientele that are in these spaces are more informed now, and they are demanding higher quality. At first they said they were okay with yes or no. Now it's like, no, it needs to be yes at the best. And so it's forcing us to rethink.
And I don't know if it's just higher quality. Some of them also want the control of, now I want to hear the students, now I don't. And when I implemented the same thing, I just wanted that discourse for the students at home to be able to feel like they were part of the class, taking part in the conversation. And I don't know if I agree with you. I'm not sure that was the best approach at this point. We need to be able
feels weird. Yeah.
For the instructor to facilitate when that discourse happens, not just hear about what the guys in the back of the room are talking about.
And the decision at large has been come back and take localized classes. If you're online, you're doing the virtual eCampus, whatever that is. And so we don't actually have a lot of call for, I want to hear all the students in the classroom on a recording so people at home can hear them also. So it's, assessing where do we need to be with that and being honest that maybe we don't have it right everywhere and rethinking that approach. I don't know.
That was a very self-congratulatory non-answer.
It was.
Yes.
Was it?
A little bit.
Well,
it seems pretty much on par, though.
Yeah.
Good job.
We'll put more of them out there. Hell with it. We're not going to change it all. You guys talked me out of it. I'm getting rid of it. It's not a plan anymore.
You put in very capable mic arrays and then dump it out analog. So
yeah,
those rooms are great. Those ones sound amazing.
Go put more of those out there.
If I had the opportunity, I would be doing that. That's kind of the takeaway, that we did it in one approach. That now that we've had the better version, we're like, man, it makes that version seem a little bit less than adequate.
Yeah.
All right then. All right. So for me, I would say that
Chris,
I do not like that. That bothers me on so many levels. It's like buying a PTZ camera and locking it off. No.
Hey,
Which I'm sure we've all done that.
There's
it.
people
I'm pulling-
that is the sometimes that's the functionality you need out of a PTZ camera, Chris.
That's it. I'm putting a controller in all of my all-in-one box rooms now. That's it.
Done.
And as Justin has asked on the, I was talking specifically about higher ed spaces, my spaces.
Yeah, I think in general we're talking about our spaces, higher ed specific. So I would say two things. One, things that I would do differently: simplify wherever possible. Don't be seduced by the opportunity to put in something extra or something special. Do whatever that doesn't necessarily need to be there, because it's just gonna. If they're not specifically using it all day long, it's just going to cause issues down the road.
Like multi-Dante channel output of a ceiling mic?
Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Just use the analog.
See,
it's the thing with simplify. And Larry's going to bring it up, the dual displays and things like that. If they're not using it,
you're speaking for Larry. Let him speak for himself.
So
it's Chris's turn.
And also, related, so I'm just saying in general, simplify stuff, because it just makes life easier down the road. Secondly, the other thing is sometimes you have to let the client win even when they're wrong. So in some of these, like, I'll just say, some of these spaces where you've got someone who's like, let's say a high-level admin at a university who really wants this particular feature in a room, and you know that's not the best thing to have in a room and they don't need it, but honestly it's going to be their space and they're going to be the ones using it 85% of the time, let them have that feature.
Does it hoot?
It does not hoot. Oh. So no, this was specific to displays that had additional features in them. Like, you just need a dumb monitor and we'll drive all the rest of it. And I'm like, you know what? Honestly, that person would have been much happier with like 2 HDMI input plates, a remote on their table, and a the literal TV that they wanted. Would have been.
Would it have all the buttons on the remote, or would half of them be removed via Razer?
They would have too many buttons, so now I need to go back to simplify that. So.
Yeah, you're
But I do want to say to that last one, at the same time, I will continue to ignore people who are straight up wrong. And to your point, Mark, about the microphones,
you're ignoring me this whole time.
Yes, the people who say things like, "Oh no, we don't need Zoom in this room." No, you're getting that capability. This is 2020.
Say, I just need I need Zoom. I just need a monitor.
Yeah, and when they say stuff like that,
I just need a monitor for Zoom.
Oh no, the classroom's fine. Just we don't need any cameras or mics in here. Because what's going to happen is they will end up with a hootie hoo sitting on the table, and then people will complain that we're trying to teach a class in here and can't hear people well. So
I love that metric.
Yes,
I'm about to talk about that.
All right, Justin, go for it.
Then dive in.
Yell at us, Justin. Yell at us.
With Mark's example during COVID, I don't know if y'all remember, but we basically just threw a bunch of dock cams out there that are USB with mics on them. So, it really was a decent metric to establish where high quality Zoom capable needed to be. Kind of going back to Mark's point of not just throwing a bunch of stuff out there. So I guess we did that pretty well. We didn't, just shotgun approach on our rooms. To Chris's point, we already make things too simple. I can't make it even more simple than what we do now.
Yeah,
nothing at all is as simple as you can get, and I like that. That is definitely.
It's
Justin. Like, you have rooms that don't have sound, but they still have pictures, so you could remove that.
That's simple as shit. That's a simple. That's
take that
simple. Out. Like no tech is, I guess, the simplest.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Just turn your laptop around and share it.
Overhead projector.
Yeah. Thinking about what I would do different. There's just this message. And we're terrible at marketing. There's this message on campus that we just can't get through to some of the people with money. And you've heard us complain about, trying to create standards and a standard experience and putting all the ANSI standards in and the VIXA standards and all this stuff. And that requires money than just throwing stuff in a room without thought. Anybody can do that, right? So I don't have an answer, but that's really what my answer is for this subject is I just need to rethink, or our team needs to rethink how we're approaching the message of sustainable AV on our campus, why you need to refresh rooms, why it's important not to just let things break and then call IT and then expect it to be fixed in a week or two. It's not good for the students. It's not good for the faculty, and things need to just be reassessed. I don't really have much more than that.
Put it in once and just let it run till it dies and then respond later on.
Yeah, it's just not a good way. We do feel like an internal integrator. We just wait on projects from broken stuff around campus and Everything is ad hoc. Everything's one-off. Everything is
These are firefighters
based upon the department's money. It's just firefighting. That's all it is. And it's interesting. It makes for some interesting projects and some really cool custom stuff. But again, we all realize the inefficiencies of it at scale. So it is what it is. We're working through things. So
growing, clawing your way up that Gartner curve.
But we didn't screw up with a bunch of like Oregon money like Oregon State did with throwing a bunch of cameras and widgets and microphones
and
in every room, everywhere.
DSP in the planet.
So no one else could buy
We didn't buy them all.
anything.
We had them made for us.
We didn't have that Oregon money to do all that crap.
They went and turned the factory on, and they drove them down here and hand delivered them.
They went and woke up that guy. Said, "Time to make the donuts."
Could you press the relay? Oh,
Not
Jamie.
a great answer, but who's next? What is it?
yeah,
Jamie?
we did. I think when rethinking our scenario coming out of COVID, we didn't really have this giant approach to slapdash things after with CARES money and such. Mine was kind of a rethinking in just how we do things in general. We used to do, everybody needed the same equality equipment capabilities in every single space. It was everywhere. If you wanted a classroom, you got the same things. A projector and the podium and the DVD or VCR or whatever, media player and a doc cam and blah, 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 blah.
What's
blah,
a
blah,
media player?
What's a podium?
Yeah.
I only want the VCR.
You're making shit up now?
No, it's anyway. So
Okay.
we used to do everything and everywhere. Everybody got the same kit no matter where they were because that was a standardization thing.
I heard kit.
Since then,
Same kit of parts.
I heard kit.
it was same kit, same kit.
It's not what you think it is.
Oh, it is.
But it's not what you think it is.
It is.
It is. So
what it
originally
needs to be.
It was the exact same thing everywhere. The
That's
only
not what I
difference
mean
would
by
be-
Kit. But
Shut
okay.
up. It was you either got a single projector or two projectors. Other than that, you got the same thing. Now, since COVID, since the changes, taking a different approach is that we have the same kit of parts.
Oh man, you're like
So
using
we
the
might
same
use
words
the
even.
same microphone. We might use the same controller. We might use the same projection system. But we now are tailoring it towards the experience that is desired in this room. We've stopped just giving everybody everything, because what we were finding out is we were really still only getting 60% utilization in any given room. And so how do I get 100%? Well, if I only make 2 or 3 of these special rooms strategically located, then I was getting up into 80% utilization of the same equipment, and I had less troubles in other places because they didn't need that stuff to begin with. So really, we're still using the same parts. It's the same DSP. It's the same controller. It's just I employ them differently. So at any given time, I can still swap the parts out. But if I have a screening room, a movie screening room, and I have an active learning room, they don't just get the carte blanche, here it all is. And so that changing and thinking has, that's what has changed in how I design stuff and how my team now handles things going forward. Is there's nothing wrong with tailoring it towards the education experience that is requested, instead of just saying, nope, here's your stuff.
Nope, only 2 buckets.
Only
I don't have buckets anymore.
It's everything
I actually
or
have-
remote with half buttons cut off. That's the only option. There's no in
The 2
between.
buckets you get.
Only for all you fools, I've already evolved past
I would
tiering.
say you seem like you're very data driven over there. I like it.
I think he claims a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's fake.
I think he's just making up
It's
a bunch
not-
of shit.
I
He
do.
uses
Amen,
arcade
brother.
buttons. Like,
Amen.
what kid of part is that
So,
from?
but your
Yeah,
kit
arcade
is still
buttons
giant
and whack-a-moles.
multi-matrix switchers and all kinds of stuff. But only 2 cards on it.
Simplify, and there is nothing more simple than an LED lit arcade button.
You're not wrong.
I'm going to post a sign here. That's going to be my sign next time.
All buttons are just single.
So what would you do, Larry, Mr. Smart Guy?
2 things.
Too late. We're out of time.
Yeah.
6
we are.
minutes
I have
all
6
for you.
minutes now.
Go for it.
The first is along the same lines that everybody else has said, simplifying. Although I'm going to take it a step farther. Chris said, or you all have mentioned that Zoom is everywhere now.
Blame me.
I have found spaces that don't need to be outfitted for that. We have dance studios that were considered classrooms. When COVID hit, all classroom spaces got some sort of Zooms or Teams or something capability. I have
Only WebEx.
Yeah, I have science labs, I have dance spaces, I have experiential learning rooms that probably don't need it. And I can scale that back, simplify my base, and then roll out kind of what Jamie's doing. Hit those rooms that, the seminar rooms, the rooms that need that true two-way communication. Hit those a little more effectively.
Where it's explicitly needed, not just like a blanket. You're going to all be on Zoom forever.
Well, I don't disagree that a science lab, a dance studio, that doesn't need it, but active learning spaces.
Do, but I have like 20% that probably don't need it. They'll never use it.
You said probably, Larry. I got a plan for you.
I was going the other way, saying that those spaces don't need it, but it's in an active learning classroom. I don't.
Yeah.
But weird enough, if you have that common kit of parts, then you could just
it's easy.
add it on as you go.
You can, yeah. As long
the
as you...
easiest way, the easiest way to assess if your room needs Zoom capable or not properly is
don't put it in.
Throw out. No. You put something in that's so terrible. That when people complain, you're like, oh, you do need something. That's what we did.
So let me get this right. Your needs analysis is based on a terrible solution first, and then if they need something better?
So we widely deployed a bunch of those dot cams. We got a few complaints back.
I don't want to do that.
That room needs something better.
Justin, I could have told you that before you widely deployed dot cams.
The plan is flawless. It worked at
100% of the time. If it's terrible, you'll find out.
That plan sounds like a recipe to spend the weekend writing a resume. I don't want any part of it. So the second thing, and this is something I've noticed the past year, we're pushing out a new video conferencing platform.
Squeezing out.
Rhymes with Eames. And
it's a business solution. Not a content solution. It is a business solution.
It's
different.
I've gotten several faculty requesting second monitors in rooms that never had them. Our standard for years and years was always single monitor on top of the lectern.
Correct.
And that was it.
Correct.
I'm actually looking at my next replacement cycle.
Wrong.
The base standard has two. I'm only going to share one, but everybody seems to want that real estate to prep and then the real estate to work on.
I'll give you a half point for saying that you're only going to share one of those outputs. If you share two of them, I'm driving to North Carolina and fixing that. Don't do it.
You share directly from the machine. Oh, unless you use one of those stupid ass appliances. And you would think that in somewhere along this line,
I mean like a refrigerator, like a washing machine,
and that you had the share to Zoom, share to Teams, and it just virtually shares those out, and you don't even have to share the whole monitor. You would think that sometime PowerPoint would actually implement that idea instead of freaking spatial audio, because who gives a crap?
I think, Jamie, it sounds like they're to my left.
Yeah. I think 80% of our shows have some sort of Eames bashing in it.
No. This isn't an Eames issue. This is a classroom issue.
We do not like blue jeans.
I'm going in. Yeah.
Like if I get that second monitor, it'll be okay. I just need to add that.
Larry, here's what you do for the second monitor.
To do that,
you put the second monitor in, but you put a DA between that and the first one. So,
oh, good Lord!
I just lock it in to duplicate the entire time. Like it's there, it just shows the same thing.
I've started doing the two monitor thing too. I'm with you.
Don't like it.
I don't like it either, but I think it's the solution.
I do it in my distance ed configuration.
But isn't every room a distance ed configuration
in the old people plus content mode?
They are not.
But should they be?
No.
All of my dance studios are distance ed spaces.
There's recording capable and collaboration capable, but not the true distance ed model. Distance ed model, they are slightly different.
That's that tier 6.5 he was talking about.
This is where Marc's splitting hairs.
Yeah, I mean, for the cost of a $400 solution, you're having the instructors you learn two different interfaces and two different ways of teaching.
No, there's not. It's not two different interfaces.
Well, kind of. I mean, if they're used to putting all their stuff on one monitor and sharing or having the class on the other,
there's some.
If every room is like that, that would be useful.
It's more for the far end. It's not about the notes. It's how they're communicating with the far end participants and where they put them on their display real estate and how they want to configure that, as well as the content share. There is some specific differences between those configurations.
Yeah. That's another. We're gonna have to hit that one another day, because we could really dig into that. Yeah. I have another soapbox to climb on.
Actually, that would be a good kind of thing to talk about more in depth in a future one. Is how we arrange for let's call it hybrid teaching, distance ed, true outreach, whatever you want to call those spaces. There's specific language, but there's like tiers even within that. To, the old model of 15, 20 years ago, you build out these specific, almost like pseudo TV studio spaces, and now it's like, I aimed a dock cam at somebody. Done. So,
oh my God.
What is this? Where did this come from?
That's it. Kick him off.
Yeah. 21 by 9. Bad idea.
Is that a question or a statement?
If you can increase your ceiling height, 21 by 9 is great.
And might as well just keep going and make it 16 by 9.
Just the right size.
I do suggest, Larry, maybe you might consider for your second monitor, maybe the second monitor could be 21 by 9.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Windows doesn't get confused enough.
There's a topic in there we can unpack, though. But I think there's actual legal language around what the universities can actually call distance education, remote, hybrid, all that. There's actual, you can't just randomly throw those words around. They mean different things, different organizations. And
well, I didn't bring it up, and we'll go into it later, but you're doing the similar thing on the other show about conference rooms or seminar rooms, and there's specific language on that too. So anyway, that's a topic for another day. So the blinking clock in the corner tells me our time is up. We have given you 21 minutes of content with 4 minutes of wasted time around that.
I didn't think we solved anything.
We never did.
We just name one thing we've ever solved.
Justin, we're not trying to solve anything. We're trying to share things that we would do differently if we were to do that same project
outside
again today.
of that one haunted install we did.
We're just highlighting issues, not actually solving them.
Oh, okay.
Just bringing things to light. Yeah. Someone else has to solve them.
If you want to hear more, go to the other version of this.
That's a good point.
We're consultants.
So if you've enjoyed this nonsense and you would like to hear more of this same panel yelling at each other about random topics, please join us at avsuperfriends.com. We do 3 shows a month. This one we do live on the third Friday. We're making that a thing, so mark it in your calendars moving forward. The third Friday of every month, we'll do this show live. We'll keep it under 30 minutes, so you can waste time during lunch, or what time is it? Who's on lunch? I guess if you're on the Pacific, you're on late lunch.
Yeah.
The rest of us are trying to do stuff during the afternoon, but it's Friday and you're not doing anything anyway. We know that.
More importantly, if you have topics that you think are good on topics, let us know, because we actually don't decide all of these. We kind of go to the well for different things. But if you have other things you want us to dive deep on, let us know.
Specifically, what Marc calls distance education spaces.
No, specifically kit of parts. That's what we want to get to.
Zoom room.
And
how
tiers.
many buckets?
All it is a Zoom room.
How many buckets and tiers within your system?
Distance ed rooms don't have the same kit of parts, apparently. Or the same experience.
They do.
But they
do.
don't.
Same kit of parts, different experience. Just like this show.
That's right.
Anyway, we're going to roll out. Please join us at avsuperfriends.com for upcoming episodes where we delve into little things or other things a little more deeply. We maybe go a little more in depth on some topics. And if you want to reach out to us, hit us up on the tweeters, on the LinkedIn, email mailbag at avsuperfriends.com, and we will see y'all a month from now. Unless you're listening to this like on your car in like 2 weeks.
Or they'll see us. We can't see them. But yes.
I can. Thanks for putting up with yet another episode of AV Super Friends On Topic. You can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at avsuperfriends.com.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV Super Friends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients.